In 1944, a Coast Guard sailor on shore leave in Hollywood was spotted at a Lux Radio Theater broadcast by a talent scout, taken directly to the offices of David O. Selznick, and, within weeks, cast in Since You Went Away as a lonely serviceman in a 3-minute bowling alley scene. His name was Robert Moseley. Selznick changed it to Guy Madison. 7 years later, in 1951, he took the title role in a new syndicated Western called The Adventures of Wild Bill Hickok, riding alongside Andy Devine as his sidekick Jingles. The show ran 7 years and made him a household name in every American town that could pick up a signal. During its peak, Monogram Pictures repackaged episodes into 16 feature-length films. He collected 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, 1 for radio, 1 for television. When the show ended, so did most of his American career. He went to Europe in the 60s, made spaghetti westerns and sword and sandal films for years, and eventually settled on a ranch in Morongo Valley, California. He died of emphysema at Desert Hospital Hospice in Palm Springs on February 6, 1996 at 74. In May 1955, at the peak of Rory Calhoun's career, his mugshot appeared on the cover of Confidential magazine. He had, at that point, starred with Marilyn Monroe in How to Marry a Millionaire, and opposite Susan Hayward in With a Song in My Heart. He was about to become the lead of a new CBS Western called The Texan. And what the magazine now told the country was that as a teenager, before he was Rory Calhoun, he had spent 3 years in a federal reformatory in Missouri for burglary, robbery, and stealing a car across state lines. He had not been the one to bury the story. His own agent, a man named Henry Wilson, had traded it to Confidential in exchange for the tabloid killing an ex-suppose about another of Wilson's clients, a leading man named Rock Hudson, whose sexuality would have been career-ending in 1955. Calhoun beat the magazine to the punch by releasing his own record to the press first. The public did not turn on him. The Texan ran 2 seasons. He worked steadily for the next 3 decades in westerns and later in soap operas. He died of emphysema and diabetes in Burbank in April 1999 at 76. The son of the silent-era Western star Jack Holt, Charles Holt III grew up on his father's Fresno ranch, appeared in one of his father's films at 9, and went to a military academy in Indiana before signing with RKO at 20. Studios called him Tim. He would spend the next 13 years making 46 B-westerns for RKO, alongside 2 of the most respected supporting roles of his career, the boy in Orson Welles' The Magnificent Ambersons, and the young prospector opposite Humphrey Bogart in The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. When the B-western market collapsed in 1952, Holt retired. He moved with his 3rd wife and their children to Oklahoma, worked as a builder, produced rodeos, and eventually became the manager of a radio station in Oklahoma City. He said, in that period, that it was the first time in his life he had ever been out from under somebody's thumb. He was diagnosed with bone cancer in August 1972. He died 6 months later, on February 15, 1973, at 54, at a hospital in Shawnee, Oklahoma. He was posthumously inducted into the Western Performers Hall of Fame in 1991. When Buck Jones died in the 1942 Coconut Grove nightclub fire in Boston, Monogram Pictures started looking for a replacement Western star. Producer Scott Dunlap eventually settled on a moderately successful singer from Granite City, Illinois, named Roland Myers, on the grounds that he looked something like Jones. Since Lash LaRue was already using a bullwhip in his own pictures, Monogram put a whip in Myers' hand as well, changed his name to Whip Wilson, and gave him a series. He starred in 22 B-westerns between 1949 and 1952. He also got his own comic book. His last starring film, Wyoming Roundup, came out in 1952, the year the whole B-western market collapsed. He worked briefly doing the whip scenes for Burt Lancaster in The Kentuckian, and then he and his 3rd wife left the movie business and began managing an apartment complex in Hollywood. He died of a heart attack in Los Angeles on October 22nd 1964, at 53. His widow Monica said later that they had loved each other completely and that their love had been proven love. Duncan Ronaldo did not know where he had been born. He was an orphan, raised across half a dozen European countries, unsure even of the year. He arrived in the United States in the early 1920s as a stoker on a Brazilian coal ship that caught fire and burned to the waterline in Baltimore Harbor. He stayed. He painted portraits for a living. He worked his way into Hollywood as an MGM extra in 1928. In 1934, he was arrested for falsifying his birthplace on a passport application. He served 18 months in a federal penitentiary before Eleanor Roosevelt, who had bought one of his paintings, persuaded her husband to pardon him. From 1950 to 1956, he played the Cisco Kid in 156 half-hour episodes on syndicated television, riding across the American West with his sidekick Pancho, played by the older character actor Leo Carrillo, helping strangers and, unlike almost every other Western hero of the era, killing no one. When the show ended, he retired for good. He died of lung cancer at a hospital in Goleta, California, on September 3, 1980, at 76. By 1946, Sunset Carson was on the industry's top 10 list of money-making Western stars. He was 26 years old. Republic Pictures had picked him up 3 years earlier at the tail end of a rodeo career that had taken him, at 19, to Buenos Aires, where he had, by his own later telling, won the Champion All-Around Cowboy Award 2 years in a row. Republic changed his name from Michael Harrison to Sunset Carson, gave him a horse called Cactus, and put him in 11 pictures across 1945 and 1946. Republic fired him at the end of that same year. According to their veteran stuntman Yakima Canutt, Carson had shown up drunk at a studio function in company he should not have been in. The studio's president, Herbert Yates, dismissed him within days. Carson said the fight had been over money. Neither version brought him back to the top. He made low-budget westerns for smaller studios for a few years, then joined Tommy Scott's touring country music circus and Wild West show for 5 seasons. His last film was a science fiction western called Alien Outlaw in 1985. He died in Reno, Nevada in 1990 at 70. Warner Brothers had originally screen-tested Alfred LaRue in the early 1940s and rejected him. He looked too much like their existing star, Humphrey Bogart. Universal signed him in 1944 instead. He romanced Deanna Durbin off camera, and the following year was cast as a whip-cracking Western hero in a series of B pictures. Fans came to know him as Lash. His trademarks were his black outfit, his bullwhip, and a certain worn quality about his face that made him look older and harder than the studio's other cowboys. He starred in more than 20 films between 1945 and 1952. He had his own comic book. Then the B-Western market collapsed, and there was no more work. The 40 years that followed were difficult. He was married and divorced repeatedly. He spent long stretches drinking. In 1966, he was arrested for vagrancy in Miami. In the late 60s in Reno, he became a born-again Christian and for the rest of his life worked as a preacher and toured with a religious Western revival called the Hollywood Western Review for the Lord. He died of heart failure in Burbank on May 21, 1996 at 78. When Gunsmoke premiered on CBS in 1955, James Arness was 42 years old, not exactly a spring chicken when he took on the role that would define his entire career. Born in Minneapolis in 1923, Arness had already lived quite a life before strapping on that marshal's badge. He'd served in World War II, earned a Bronze Star and Purple Heart, worked as a logger in Idaho, and even had a gig as a radio announcer. But it was his friendship with John Wayne that changed everything. According to Hollywood lore, Wayne was offered the role of Marshal Matt Dillon, but turned it down, recommending Arness instead. Whether that's true or not, Arness grabbed the opportunity and never let go. He played Matt Dillon for 20 years, from 1955 to 1975, appearing in 635 episodes, a staggering commitment to a single character. After Gunsmoke ended, he continued working in How the West Was Won and McLean's Law, but nothing quite matched the cultural impact of his years in Dodge City. Arness passed away in 2011 at the age of 88 from natural causes, leaving behind a legacy as one of television's most iconic lawmen. Roger Ewing came to Gunsmoke relatively late in the show's run, joining in the final 2 seasons as Deputy Marshal Thad Greenwood. While his time on the show was brief compared to some of the other cast members, Ewing made an impression with his portrayal of the capable and likable deputy. Before Gunsmoke, Ewing had worked in various television shows and films, building a solid career as a character actor. His role as Thad Greenwood showcased his ability to hold his own alongside the show's established stars. After Gunsmoke ended in 1975, Ewing continued working in television and film. Though he never quite achieved the level of stardom that some of his castmates did, he appeared in various TV shows and made guest appearances throughout the 1980s and beyond. Unlike many of his Gunsmoke colleagues who struggled with health issues or personal demons, Ewing lived a relatively quiet life out of the spotlight. He passed away on December 18, 2025, at the age of 83 in Morro Bay, California, from natural causes. His death was announced by his family weeks after he passed, which is why it went largely unnoticed by the media. Ewing's passing marks the end of an era. He was one of the last surviving members of the Gunsmoke cast, a living link to one of television's greatest Western dramas. Amanda Blake was the glamorous heart of the Long Branch Saloon, and for 19 years, she embodied the role of Miss Kitty with a perfect blend of toughness and charm. Blake had spent years grinding it out in Hollywood, taking bit parts in forgettable B-movies waiting for her big break. When Gunsmoke came along in 1955, she was already in her mid-30s, and this role became her defining moment. She appeared in 510 episodes, making Kitty one of the most recognizable characters on television. But after nearly 2 decades behind that bar, Blake decided she'd had enough. She quit in 1974, just a year before the show ended, famously joking that 19 years is a hell of a long time for someone to be stuck behind a bar. After leaving Gunsmoke, she continued working in television and films, but the roles never quite matched the prestige of her time in Dodge City. In 1989, at just 60 years old, Blake died from complications related to AIDS. It's believed she contracted the virus from her 4th husband, Mark Spaeth. Her death was one of the earliest high-profile celebrity deaths from AIDS, bringing attention to a disease that was still widely misunderstood and stigmatized at the time. Milburn Stone was the beating heart of Gunsmoke, the voice of reason and medical expertise in a town that desperately needed both. He appeared in over 600 episodes, more than any other cast member except James Arness, and Doc Adams became as essential to the show as the dusty streets of Dodge City itself. Stone had a long career in Hollywood before Gunsmoke, with roles in John Ford's Young Mr. Lincoln and Samuel Fuller's film noir masterpiece Up on South Street. But it was his role as the crusty, compassionate town doctor that made him a household name. Stone was deeply committed to the character, and he loved the role so much that he could have easily appeared in all 635 episodes. But his body had other plans. In the early 1970s, Stone began experiencing serious heart problems. He suffered a heart attack and underwent heart surgery, forcing him to miss several episodes. He managed to return toward the end of the show's run, but his health never fully recovered. After Gunsmoke ended in 1975, Stone retired from acting, His health continued to deteriorate and he passed away in 1980 from a heart attack at the age of 75. Stone's legacy as Doc Adams remains one of television's most beloved supporting characters. Dennis Weaver's Chester Goode was the perfect foil to James Arness's Marshall Dillon, loyal, quirky, and unforgettable. That distinctive stiff-legged walk and country drawl became iconic. But here's the thing, Weaver almost didn't get the role. He failed his first audition for Gunsmoke, but he had the guts to ask for a second chance. In that second audition, he added a stronger country accent, threw in some humor, and nailed it. From 1955 to 1964, Weaver played Chester in 290 episodes, creating a character so beloved that fans couldn't imagine anyone else in the role. After leaving Gunsmoke, Weaver went on to star in his own show, Kentucky Jones, and continued acting in film and television for decades. He appeared in Steven Spielberg's early thriller Duel, and had roles in shows like Stone and Buck James. His final role was as Henry in the TV show Wildfire. Weaver passed away in 2006 at the age of 81 from complications related to cancer. Unlike some of his Gunsmoke castmates, Weaver had a long and varied career after the show, but he's still most remembered for those 290 episodes as the lovable Chester. Ken Curtis didn't join Gunsmoke until the 8th season, but when he did, he became one of the most beloved characters on the show. Festus Hagen, the scraggly, good-hearted deputy with the distinctive accent, was Curtis's ticket to stardom. Before that, Curtis had years of experience in film and television, including roles in The Alamo and the TV show Rawhide. He even had a brief career as a singer, but it was Festus that made him a household name. Curtis played the character from season 8 all the way through the show's final season, appearing in 110 episodes. He became so associated with the role that fans couldn't imagine Gunsmoke without him. After the show ended, Curtis continued working in television, including a role as Hoyt Coriel in The Yellow Rose. But his health was declining. On April 28, 1991, Ken Curtis passed away in his sleep from a heart attack at the age of 74. He left behind a legacy as one of television's most charming and memorable supporting characters. Burt Reynolds' time on Gunsmoke was brief, just 50 episodes from 1962 to 1965, playing a character named Quint Asper. But it was the launching pad for one of the most successful careers in Hollywood history.
Somebody and drag them back in here and stick them in the cell till they rot.
Before Gunsmoke, Reynolds had spent years grinding it out in bit parts on film and television. His most notable work had been as Ben Fraser in the TV show Riverboat, but he was still largely unknown. Then came Gunsmoke. The audience loved Reynolds' charm, charisma, and good looks. After leaving the show, Reynolds went on to become one of America's biggest movie stars. He starred in Smokin' Bandit, The Longest Yard, Deliverance, and The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. He became a sex symbol, a comedic genius, and one of the most bankable stars in Hollywood. Even as he aged, Reynolds continued acting in films like Boogie Nights and Citizen Ruth. His final years were marked by health problems and financial struggles, but his legacy as one of cinema's greatest entertainers remains intact. Reynolds passed away on September 6, 2018, at the age of 82 from a heart attack. Though his time on Gunsmoke was relatively short, it was the moment that changed his life forever.
Frank, do you have any idea what you're doing?
She didn't carry a gun, but she commanded the room like a sheriff. For 19 seasons on Gunsmoke, Amanda Blake's portrayal of Miss Kitty Russell turned the Long Branch Saloon into the heart of Dodge City. Beyond serving drinks, Kitty offered counsel, compassion, and a steadfast presence in a turbulent frontier town. Her nuanced relationship with Marshal Matt Dillon was a masterclass in restrained emotion, their unspoken bond captivating audiences famously, without a single on-screen kiss. Born Beverly Louise Neal in Buffalo, New York in 1929, Blake rose from local theater to television legend. Off-screen, she was a passionate animal welfare advocate, helping pioneer cheetah breeding in captivity. After leaving Gunsmoke, she continued her advocacy in acting. Amanda Blake died in 1989 at age 60 from AIDS-related complications, her legacy enduring in both entertainment and animal welfare. The Long Branch is quiet now, but we still see her behind the bar. He had a voice like gravel and gold rough, warm, unforgettable.
Golly, Bill, no, Doc. Of course, I done a few little G-Joes.
Ken Curtis brought Festus Hagen to life in Gunsmoke, transforming a one-off character into Marshal Matt Dillon's steadfast deputy. With his mule Ruth and a heart as big as Dodge City, Festus became the show's soul, offering comic relief and unwavering loyalty. Curtis's portrayal, inspired by real-life characters from his youth, added depth and authenticity to the role. One of Festus's most memorable episodes is Alias Festus Hagen, where Curtis showcased his versatility by playing both Festus and his cousin, Fergus Hagen. This dual role highlighted Curtis's range and added a unique twist to the series. Beyond Gunsmoke, Curtis's talents extended to film and music. He sang with the Sons of the Pioneers before his acting fame.
Along with a tumbling tumbleweed.
In 1991, Ken Curtis passed away at 74 from a heart attack, leaving behind a legacy that still resonates. Festus never said goodbye. He just rode off with the wind.
My name is Doc Adams. I'm your friendly little neighborhood physician.
When the guns fell silent, he was the one who stitched Dodge City back together.
So you thought you'd come to my office and get a little free advice, huh? Why not? Well, I'll give you some advice, Chester. I'll give you some free advice.
Milburn Stone wasn't just acting as Doc Adams on Gunsmoke, he was channeling family legacy. Born in Kansas in 1904, Stone drew on memories of his Civil War veteran grandfather to shape a frontier doctor with grit, gruffness, and a stubborn heart. For 20 seasons, Stone's doc could scold with a growl, heal with a steady hand, and stand alone in a moral storm, as in The Jailer, when he refuses to abandon a dying prisoner guided only by principle. Stone's performance earned him an Emmy in 1968 and a place among the few who stayed with Gunsmoke to the end. After a heart attack in 1980, Stone passed away at 75, quietly closing one of Western television's strongest chapters. The doc is out, but his wisdom and gravelly voice still echo. He hobbled into every scene like a loyal shadow steady, true and always there. Dennis Weaver's Chester Good wasn't just a sidekick. He was the soul of Gunsmoke's early years.
Well, nothing.
Well, let me see.
Well, it's just my quacker. Now give it to me.
With a pronounced limp, which Weaver invented to set Chester apart, a Midwestern twang, an unwavering devotion to Marshall Dillon, Chester brought warmth and humanity to the harsh frontier. In the memorable episode, Never Pester Chester, Chester endures a brutal beating, highlighting both Weaver's depth as an actor and the profound bond between Chester and Matt Dillon. After 9 seasons and an Emmy win, Weaver left Gunsmoke in 1964 to avoid being typecast, later starring in McCloud and championing environmental causes. Dennis Weaver passed away in 2006 at the age of 81, leaving behind a legacy that shaped TV sidekicks for generations. Chester may be gone, but that loyal step still echoes behind every Marshal. He was a young fire in an old town, restless, bold, and already burning bright. When Burt Reynolds strode into Dodge City as Quint Asper, Gunsmoke found a new spark.
Somebody and drag them back in here and stick them in the cell till they rot.
Introduced in the 1962 episode Quint Asper Comes Home, Quint was a half-Comanche blacksmith with a troubled past and a chip on his shoulder. Reynolds brought him to life with a simmering intensity that hinted at the movie star he'd soon become. Over 50 episodes, Quint wasn't just a gunsmith. He was a man caught between two worlds, forging his place in a town wary of outsiders. In episodes like Quint's Trail and The Renegades, he stood tall against prejudice, proving his worth with grit and quiet strength. Reynolds left Gunsmoke in 1965 to chase Hollywood dreams, but he always called those years some of his happiest. When he passed in 2018, fans remembered not just the bandit,
Hollywood icon Burt Reynolds has died at the age of 82.
but the blacksmith who once rode into Dodge with fire in his eyes. He stood taller than the prairie sky and carried justice in his stride. For 2 decades, James Arness was the embodiment of frontier law as Marshal Matt Dillon on Gunsmoke.
I've been thinking about you, Grego.
Towering at 6 feet 7 inches, his presence was as commanding as the vast landscapes of the Old West. Arness's portrayal brought a stoic dignity to Dodge City, upholding justice with unwavering resolve and a compassionate heart. Through countless classic episodes, Arness revealed Dillon's internal struggles, portraying a man burdened by duty, yet guided by an unyielding moral compass. Beyond Gunsmoke, he starred as Detective Jim McClane in McClane's Law, proving his versatility beyond the Western genre. James Arness passed away from natural causes on June 3, 2011, at age 88 in Los Angeles. His legacy endures, etched into the annals of television history as the face of the longest-running primetime Western. The badge is laid down, the boots are still, but Matt Dillon never truly left Dodge. stories that continue to inspire and touch our hearts. As we remember them, it's a bittersweet reminder of the impact they had on a generation of viewers. Which of these stories moved you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more looks back at TV classics and the stars who made them unforgettable. Until next time, cherish those memories. They're a little part of television history.